So, Campbell, we were talking about our projected topic is how to be patient around lazy ass people, stupid people, whatever people who drive us completely nuts. And Dante, why don't you share your story for today to kind of get us started since I actually pressed the record button and whatnot?
Yeah, I need context because I'm lost.
All right. So basically, as you all know, I work at Bank of America call center. We have a kitchen or a cafe day. I'm one of the grill cooks. So we have a punching system. Well, not punching, but like an order system or a touchscreen order system. And they put the orders in. And basically, what the situation I'm talking about today is that seems like a lot of the customers, they either get, because I'm like one of the only ones. Sometimes I'm out there by myself, making their food, and I'll get like maybe 10 or 15 orders at, one time. And it's like a lot of people, they'll either make, little side comments or, start getting aggravated, because I'm not fast enough. But it's just like I'm out there by myself. And so sometimes I do get like a little heated or aggravated because it's like I'm doing my best. So I just don't understand what the problem is, So that's what pretty much happened today. So it's just I'm trying to figure out how to block them and be also patient with them, even though they're not really patient with me.
Heck yeah, I can completely agree with that. Especially when people demand so much when they clearly see that,
Right.
And
the other thing is they also tend to micromanage how you cook your food, which that probably is why it aggravates me so much.
I don't know if I could deal with that.
You're telling me how to cook your food, but you want me to hurry up and do it. It's like it don't make no sense at all.
I'd be throwing hands at that point.
Most definitely.
I mean, no, like real like if somebody came up and was like, "This is how you write this thing," I'd be like, "All right, you sit down and write it then, jackass."
Right.
Right. Yeah, for real. And another example that obviously didn't make it into the podcast was I was working at Andreas at one time, and like we were actually doing like the rock wall or whatever, or entertainment or whatever you want to call it. And literally some people don't even show up or show up on time, and it just drives me insane when people, they want you to do your best, they want you to do your job obviously, but it's like I physically can't. I'm actually one person, so what the fuck do you mean? Of course there's going to be delays, especially at a like a entertainment place like Andretti's. If people are missing, that it hits everybody kind of hard, and it sucks. But yeah, I can definitely relate, Dante, how it's really hard to keep your patience and keep your mindset on getting throughout the day, and in my case 2 a.m. at night. And man, that was tough.
Well, the main thing is always remember that you are just one person, and don't let yourself be taken advantage of. That's the first thing, if anything. And I've had to learn that many times from many different jobs and many different places, because we are taught to do the best we can, while others recognize that other people are going to do the best they can. So if everyone else is giving 110%, that's 50. All I got to do is give 50%. And there's my part. So,
for real.
So with all that being said, you just continue to do what you do and do what you do. Just continue to do you, and continue to let your value show, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to stand out. But at the same time, don't let yourself get taken advantage of. Don't let yourself don't let someone come up to you and say, "Hey, I want you to do X, Y, and Z," while no one's looking, so that way I can get the shine later. No, if someone's gonna ask you to do something, you be like, "Okay, if I'm gonna do this, you've got to do something for me," or you it's a give and take. This is not just don't just keep giving yourself away.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, that's especially true in like the corporate world where like going above and beyond the call of your job is like the mandatory expectation. Where it's like, of course, we're asking you to do 6,000 things. That's your job, and at some point in time, you literally have to be willing to say that's actually not my job. I can't help you.
Can't tell you how many times I played HR, talent acquisition, and engineering all in one day.
I mean, but that's how it'll be. Like when you, like Cam said, like when you're out here giving 110% trying to shine, people will notice that you're working hard, and it'll always be two people. There are the people that will recognize you for it, and the people that will try to take advantage of the fact that you're a hard worker. And unfortunately, those people who try to take advantage, they like get a little bit ahead in life a little quicker because they're used to taking advantage of people. But you know, I mean, just like Cam, I've had to learn that there comes a time where you just have to be like, no, I actually can't do whatever it is you just asked me to do. Like, it's not my job. I'm not about to stick my neck out for you, or I'm not about to severely inconvenience myself or like derail my whole work day just because you want this one thing to, like, no, you really want it done that badly, you could have done it yourself by this point.
Right. Another thing I want to throw in there is it's because you're young, Dante. It's because you're young. Whenever that happens, just remember that's exactly why. Because we all go through it. And it's really frustrating sometimes, but it's like, especially if you're like a positive type person, like I think all of us in this podcast, except Cam, are pretty, nice, kind, and whatnot.
I used to be. Lord, I used to be that nice guy. But then, and I still am to a degree. Like, I think one of my biggest flaws is saying sorry. So, yeah. Like, actually, someone called me out on that at work. They were like, "Stop saying sorry." But anyway, getting back to it, like, be selective with your niceties. Remember, you have value. You have, like, you're putting in effort and whatever. Mm-hmm. Don't let your value. Don't let anyone take advantage of you. Again, like I said before, don't let anyone take advantage of your
kindness.
Yeah, let's go with kindness.
Yeah, mistaking kindness for weakness. Heck yeah.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Or take advantage of your value, because again, people take advantage. Don't be like toilet paper, or you know what? Be like toilet paper. Don't be like toilet paper. And I'm using this analogy wrong, but what I'm saying is,
yeah, because I'm still trying to figure out what that means.
because like nicety is like toilet paper. Everyone takes advantage of it until there's none left, and then you regret it. Then you're like, oh, fuck. And now you're stuck on the toilet, waddling your way in fear.
Terrified about what's about to happen.
I like that.
Yeah, you brought it back around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but yeah, I think that being young is a lot to do with it, where people, I mean, and some of it is just stuff that you don't know that you can argue against. Because like, people will cut every corner that you let them cut, no matter what it is. I mean, like, to me, a perfect example is if you're going to like a car dealer. A lot of people don't know that almost everything is up for negotiation at the car dealership. Literally, almost everything. Like, hey, we want to sell you this car for $30,000. I actually want it for $20,000. You could do that, and you could still reasonably walk away with that car. It's just that a lot of people don't know that you can, because, you know, we're not taught that we have that kind of bargaining power. So we end up in these situations where it's like, okay, I want to make sure I'm doing a great job at work, and this, that, and the other. And somebody will just be like, oh, well, I mean, you know, if you're trying to stand out, then you should do these 18 reports for me. And then you end up getting in trouble with your boss, because they're like, well, why are you doing all this other work? What happened to your work? And it's just like, oh, I thought so-and-so needed help. And they'll be like, what? Nope, I didn't say nothing. Like, literally leave you out to dry in a heartbeat. Will not even hesitate. So, and I think the mistake a lot of people make is that they try to go like this, like, absolutely ruthless path, where it's like, fine, if you're gonna be cold, I'm gonna be cold too.
And that's how more cold people are created, man. I'm sick of it.
Yeah. It's just like you can't respond to, as cheesy as it sounds, you can't respond to anger and hatred with anger and hatred.
You can.
I mean, you can. It just doesn't get rid of the anger and hatred.
Yeah, it does. It feels so good. Let the rage flow through you. Crush your enemies. See them scatter before you. And you hear the lamentation of their women.
Oh man, Cam at work with a damn red lightsaber standing on his desk.
Man, growing up, I remember a friend of mine was like, "Man, you need anger management, bro." I'm like, and at that time, I didn't realize what he was talking about, and I realized I'm a very intense individual. I get intense, and it happened because I was too nice.
What you been? You been hurt before, Cam? What's up, man? There's got to be a lot more to it.
Oh man, if I was to go into the machinations of my mind, it'd be like an enigma. But I've been led astray, betrayed, lied to, set up, all of the most mental shit, beyond. No, there's mental abuse too. There's a lot of shit, and the mental abuse came from a girlfriend. So, it all just stemmed from me being too nice. I became too available. I became the person everyone relied on, and I didn't value myself. So, and I valued other people up more than myself, and that was just, you know what? I think I'm realizing a lot more shit about myself than God.
That's healthy, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, man. Let's get this therapy going.
But I've started valuing more other people than myself, and it's not because I didn't see myself as having value. It was just one of those I never saw myself I struggled with stuff. So, and in recent things happening, it hasn't made it any better. So, one day at a time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man. And I think a lot of it comes down to being able to identify where some of that hurt comes from. Because I think it, as wrong, I guess, as it may be to say this, I feel like a lot of hurt people just don't know why they're hurting. And they end up taking shit out on other people. And then you end up in situations where it's yo, why is so-and-so so upset? And it's well, what you don't know is, his wife or girlfriend or his mom's or whoever did this, and this to him. And that's why he's acting this way. And it's just oh, well, when you explain it that way, everything makes sense. But, a lot of people don't learn how to process those feelings. So you end up with these situations where it's somebody's flying off the handle and pissed and, F the world and F them and F you. And just yo, chill. And just nah, F everybody. I'm tired of this. And nobody really knows why until later on when you come to realize that, they've been through a lot of stuff. But to me, that also goes back to a lesson in empathy where you have to be willing to open your heart up and open your life experiences up to someone else's situation. Because otherwise you'll just think that everybody's an asshole when reality is, again, who knows what people have gone through.
Yeah, actually, that statement stands very true because I've been meeting a whole lot of people recently, even just saying hey to them or, what's your name, blah, 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 where you headed to, stuff like that. And I realized that there are actually a lot of cool people in this world, man. A lot of people don't realize it. It's just, I think when it comes to work, the environment is just a little bit different. And there are still nice people in work as well. But, of course, it being corporate America, sometimes all that negativity and bull crap is gonna outshadow all the kindness and whatnot. And I know people act a certain way as soon as they step into the office, oh, I don't want to be bothered, I don't want to be talked to, and all that jazz. But they do exist. I would say a lot more than the rotten people, most definitely. Mm-hmm. But you just gotta keep her mind open, keep her heart open, of course. But no, I definitely can see, because when I was younger, I hated everybody. I hated the world, man. But it's only more recently that I figured out that, hey, human beings aren't that bad, Even like when I met you or Cam and John. When I met y'all, I was like, man, you got some really cool people around here. But yeah, definitely if you can, honestly, and I think that helps too. even if you like talk to somebody for like a second or like a minute, introduce yourself, stuff like that, I think the positivity will kind of spread forth, and maybe that person can go about their day. They're gonna have a great day. They're gonna be like, wow, this random stranger came up and talked to me and asked me about myself. He doesn't even know me, all that jazz. And I think that person will, hopefully that person will repay the favor and translate it to the next person. Maybe show the next person some kindness. Kind of like a what's that, like the pay it forward thing, kind of.
Yeah.
Like if people can just do that, honestly, I'm thinking about doing something like really ridiculous. Like I might just hug like a random person and be like, like pass it on. You know what I'm saying?
You will get, don't be careful.
Nah.
Like now, but
oh man.
Like we should. I'm gonna start something goofy. I don't care.
Like I was gonna piggyback off of what you were saying because it reminded me of this video I just watched the other day talking about an anime that I watched like about a year or two ago, and it was just basically how this one chick was judging this other chick just off of like first impression, and how a lot of times we were saying how you were saying, oh man, people actually can be people. It reminded me of that because when the girl actually had a genuine interest in what the other girl was talking about, she instantly shut her down like, you stupid hoe, like you don't know who I am. And it was and it's a natural reaction that we all have. Like if some random like let's say sports dude, let's take it to high school. Some jock just walked up to you and you're watching an anime on your phone and he's like, oh man, I love this show. What's this show called? Your first thought probably is like, he's dicking with me. He's gonna fuck with me. So you shut him out. So without actually getting to know the person. And it's a natural human emotion. Actually, it's very natural because it's like what's going to happen if you let somebody get too close. Like you get hurt. And so, yeah.
I got to kind of disagree with that, especially like if you don't know a person. I think some people find it a little bit easier to like be trusting and a little bit willing because, someone comes up to me and asks, turn my phone off, my bad. If someone comes up to me and asks me to like do something like really quick, like a quick favor or whatever, I'm gonna do it. But like it's funny how that works too. And my mom brought this up to me probably months ago. But when we have like friends and get used to a certain someone, we're gonna start treating them a little differently, even though we don't actually mean any harm. Like when I call you a bitch, Cam, I don't mean it. You know what I'm saying? But maybe you're having a bad day and you take it to heart. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know. I feel like it's easier to be like a little bit vulnerable and kind to like a complete stranger. But obviously, if you're numb to a person because you're always hanging out with them or talking to them, it's a lot easier to act a different way. Not that happens all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think like I definitely agree with what you're saying where when you meet a stranger, you typically they don't have any prejudgments or prejudices because they don't know you.
Yeah, they don't have a track record.
But the problem is like you like, and it goes into a whole thing about value. You don't want to give so much of yourself to a person and become too vulnerable that they take advantage of your vulnerability. Because again,
right.
Like, and a lot again, like especially for black people, or at least from where I'm from, that like telling too much of yourself can be a huge be a huge disadvantage to you because those same people you say, oh well, this happened to me or this happened to me, they take that and will run with it and throw it back in your face. Mm-hmm. True story. Like friend of mine, mom, it's no secret at this point. My mother was, when she was in the hospital, she was like, she had cancer and she was in remission. So at that time, she was going back and forth. She didn't have a whole lot of money. And I was vulnerable with my friends. I told them like, look, this is what's going on in my life. I ended up losing my job at the top of the year. We were planning to go to spring break. And at the end of it all, it just, one of my friends threw it back in my face when I didn't have the money because I lost my job and because I didn't really have no money because I couldn't ask my mom for money. He threw it back in my face. Oh, you and your funny money, that shit hurt. Like, I'm like, fuck. Like, who the fuck are you? Because I'm like, I told you something in trust, knowing that you wouldn't do that, but you did it anyway. So I guess it goes counter to what I was trying to say, which was like, you have to be careful with. Yeah, but I guess where am I going with this? Oh God, okay. But you don't want to be too vulnerable because again, people can throw that shit back in your face, like that story.
True.
So. True.
Yeah, I completely agree, and yeah, that's just like me personally. That's definitely been like a huge life lesson because I have to. I don't know when I meet new people, man. It's just I'm like an open book, bro. Especially if you're like cool from my eyes or whatever, and you can like hold a conversation. Like it's a wrap, you know. But I need to learn to build my wall just a little bit better because I'm not really conscious of it. You know what I'm saying? It's so natural to me that I automatically come off as, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. All cheery and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I definitely have to work on that as well because it can also lead to my downfall sometimes because, you know, what if I'm like approached by like a homeless dude or something like that and he's in like better shape than me asking for money? Like my first natural reaction would be to obviously help him out a bit, you know, but looking at him, I can tell that he's probably in shape enough to actually like find a job or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know where I'm going with it, but I feel like I don't know.
Well, today I learned you have some body issues, sir. You're not fat. You're skinnier than me. The fuck you mean?
Right? But it's like in hindsight, you're thinking like, should I really have given him that much money? Yeah, let's say for example, it was a certain amount of money. And in hindsight, I'm like, damn, should I really have given him that much money or whatever? Because he looks fit, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. I hope y'all kind of understood it.
Put to you like this, like, what were you going to use the money for? And hopefully it wasn't a whole lot that you went hungry.
Right.
Don't try to feed the homeless when you can't feed yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the old black adage.
Yeah, I mean, but it's one of those things where like you unfortunately have to learn by experience, and I think that's the scariest part of it. Like, it's how do you tell somebody? The only way you can learn whether or not somebody is going to hurt you is to kind of be hurt by people. Like it almost sounds like some bullshit where it's like I can't, you know, like there's no like pre-warning, no advance course, but like it's you do just kind of have to go through life and learn about people and the things that people say and do and how all of that. And it sucks. It really does. Cause I mean, even I'm like in between you and Cam TJ, where it's like, there are certain situations where I do almost like implicitly trust a person. And then there are other situations where I'm like, nah, y'all can fall back. Like, like everybody here can go lick a dick. There's no reason for me to trust not one of y'all. But it's only been through experience where I've been able to say like, okay, I don't want to be in this situation. I have to watch out for this situation. I've tried to like develop almost like a series of categories for people where it's like, if you show these signs, then I'm probably not gonna mess with you. Like, you know, if I see you on your phone 24/7 and you're also trying to hold a conversation with me and then you get mad at me for not responding to you, I'm probably not going to talk to you. Like, you're probably going to hear from me once and that's all. But I mean, like I said, it sucks that you kind of have to learn those things from experience. And I think going back to what Dante was talking about earlier with people being impatient, you know, with like food preparation and stuff, like the easiest way to sympathize with that is to put somebody in that position where it's like, all right, you get behind the grill and here come 15 orders, you got 5 minutes. And by the way, he wants his grilled cheese cut into triangles. Like, like, all right, how do you deal with this? I mean, because that's I think that's been my solution when it comes to a lot of stuff where, I mean, me being a writer, I can set situations up for people visually and get them to empathize with what I'm going through. Because I've had plenty of times where people are like, oh, you're just, you know, especially in high school, where there was like this, I don't even know where it started. It probably started from, it was some girl who said it first. I don't know who said it first. It was some girl. But she was like, oh, well, I don't know why you're complaining. You're not bad at anything. And my issue in high school was I was super lazy, but I loved reading. And I could pay attention enough in class that I could always get by. But then I was in classes where people wouldn't try. So I always was at the top of I was always at like the low A, B range. But then like half the class was pulling C. So I always seemed like the standout student. But then you put me in an AP class, and I'm in the middle of the pack because I still don't try until the end of the semester when I actually tried. But it started this like these series of situations in a lot of my classes where people were just like, oh, well, Joey doesn't need any help with anything because, he's good at everything. If he just tries, he'll get an A no matter what. And I'm like, y'all, it's actually not that easy. Like, I got an A in English because I like reading, and we discussed a book I read a year ago. So I just, I remembered it, but like I'm not some savant or something. And it took me sitting down with a friend and explaining to them, like, this is why this is frustrating to me, because you guys are basically dismissing anytime I struggle with something, you guys are dismissing it on the assumption that I'm already in control of it. And that kind of screws me over because now I can't get the help I need or the help that I want because you're assuming something that isn't true. But I had to put my friend mentally in that situation where it's like, imagine if you were asking for help on something and everybody was like, nah, you got it, you good. And you're like, no, I genuinely need help with this. And everybody's like, but you did the last thing, you're okay. And it's just like, but I need help. Like, what do you mean? So yeah, it's
and I bet
it's learning through experience, and it sucks sometimes because, I mean, just frankly, people can be assholes. Like that's just all it is to it. Like,
another thing you can do, Dante, not to sorry to cut you off, but yeah, another thing you can do, not to wage war with your customers or something like that. But I would call them on their bluff, bro. You know what I'm saying? I would sit down, I would just pause what I'm doing, just walk over to them, be like, why are you so angry? Clearly, you see, I'm the only one up in this bitch managing everything. You know what I'm saying? And then see what they say, man. Like, then turn around and be like, how would you feel if you were in my position right now? But again, not to wage war with customers. You can kind of get them to realize the situation you're in, even though they can clearly see it. But some people just need that, I guess, mental reassurance that, hey, this guy is doing the best he can. He's only one guy. We should probably respect him and be a little bit patient about our meals before he, I don't know, taints him or something or spits in them.
Put this record crash in. But to speak on the customer's behalf, let me tell you that you have to sympathize with the customer, and like the first thing you have to do is realize that if they're mad, there's a reason. Like yeah, there are some people who are like out there who are just like, man, I'm mad for mad's sake, and I want to take advantage of a situation. However, there's always those who are like, they put so much time in or something like that. And a good example is like where I work at, we have a lot of customers who spend like millions of dollars on systems that they want to work. It's the equivalent of like if you're paying $100 a month for like a terabyte of speed on your internet, you want that shit to work. So when it don't work, you're pissed because you're like, I spent like $100 that I could put towards anything else, but the thing I put where I invest in isn't working. So, and the same can be said for food. People put in money and their time to get some food, and it's not what they want. They can be a little upset. Like, not to say that they're right. I'm just saying that it's understandable to why they're upset.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it like
not for some food though.
What you were saying, well, I mean, but like, so I agree mostly. Like, I always look at it as the you don't know why they're speeding thing, where like there's a I guess you can call it like a thought problem or whatever, where it's like, there's a SUV speeding down a highway and it like drives right up on you and it's right behind you, then it like whips around you, then gets in front of you and like zooms off. And it's like, would you be mad? Most people be like, hell yeah, I'd be mad. Like, F that guy. And then he's like, his father's in the hospital about to pass away. He won't see him again after today. Are you still mad? It's like, oh, well, no. But like when you lack that context, it's just like, well, I didn't know that his dad was in the hospital and about to die. and I mean, like, there's typically a reason why people are upset, but I also don't think that necessitates some of the ways that people treat you. Like, I get it. If you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day. I can empathize with having a bad day. I think most people can. But that doesn't mean that you can turn around and be like, I'm having a bad day, so
I'm taking it out on everybody.
yeah, like, so hurry the hell up and make my food. Like, like, for sure, you should be able, as a person, you should be able to, in my opinion, and at least as an adult, like if you're still in high school, whatever, you got time, you still got time and excuses. But as an adult, I feel like there should come a point in your life where you're able to say, I recognize that I'm upset, but I can, like, pull myself back from the situation, or, like, separate myself from the present situation and not take this out on somebody. I mean, and occasionally there are going to be times where you just can't. Like, it can be news that's too devastating, or, all sorts of things. But I don't know. To me, by and large, it's one of those things where it's like, I get it. Life is tough. Life is very tough. But taking it out on, like, the closest person to you doesn't make your life any easier. It just makes you more of an asshole. And I mean, I'd like to say eventually it catches up to you, but a lot of people that have been assholes to me, I just kind of cut them out of my life, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I think, and to add on to pretty much everything we talked to, I just think it's generally important to have balance too. I feel like you have to care to a certain extent, and I feel like you have to be defensive to a certain extent as well. It's just kind of tricky sometimes on what situation you're currently in, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, most definitely, it's kind of tough. You'll never really know.
Never know till you're in the situation and it's already too late.
Yeah, and I mean, I personally try to do that nowadays. I try my best to, because Dante, I'm sure you get impatient with other people in your life too.
Like your coworkers.
Yeah, even us, even me. It don't matter. But I don't know, man. I feel like it's important to, and I've been trying to do this myself. I've been trying to put myself in other people's shoes to kind of see where they're coming from, and just to kind of understand why before judging and whatnot. I mean, because we all do it. We're all human. We're not perfect, obviously. So, but yeah, there's that.
I mean, my thing is, because honestly, I do, put myself in people's shoes, but I think I guess my whole issue is just like, because I've been there, like, I'll be 2 years in next 2 months, but it's like I still hear the same things. Like, I don't understand what. I mean, I guess my concern is why y'all still complaining about the same issue.
Kind of like how we always have traffic every day in Atlanta. Like, we all go to work every single day. We should have this down to a science. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's my whole thing, because I don't want, because I do try to, go or put myself in other people's shoes, and try to consider maybe that person's going through something, or something happened, so I just don't want people to think that I don't consider other people's feelings, because I do. It's just, my thing is, I don't understand why people are still complaining about the same issue, and it's something that I don't have any control over.
Right.
Like, it's not,
I can't change.
It's not you. Again, it's usually the situation. They're more mad at the things that they can't control, because again, what's the anger really, but things that's beyond their control. Like, if you had control of the situation, then yeah, you would want to make the ultimate difference. You want to make sure that the customer's always happy, but you can't. And so, like, in most cases, that's all it is.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Like, the resources you're provided with, like, that's the company. That ain't you, obviously.
Yeah.
If it was you, I mean, you would have a door out the line. Everybody be happy. It'd be like Chick-fil-A. Like, oh my God, they would treat you with so much respect, and people would be coming and showing up and leaving happy. Dude, you would have that under control.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you can only do so much with the tools your company provided for you.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And that kind of sucks, man. And then, never mind. That's another podcast topic. It's along the lines of, okay, you want our ideas to make your company better. When we suggest ideas, you still don't make it happen. So what's the point? Yeah.
See. I've actually learned what it is. They don't want your ideas. They want your participation. Two very different. They want you to feel like you're a part of the process after they've already. You know how like your parents would be like, "Hey, how's it going, champ? Where do you want to eat?" And in their mind, they've already picked a steakhouse, and you're like, "I want spaghetti." And you're like, "Okay, well, let's see if we can find a spaghetti place." It's 8:30. It looks like they're closing. Why don't we go to the steak place? And you're like, "Well, at least you tried." Like it's literally it's the same patronizing kind of thing where it's like we just. I mean, and in some ways, I guess it's good, but. In my experience, it's typically been like, well, let's just ask them to make them feel like they're included, and then we'll do what we want anyway.
Yeah, that's another problem I have. So, yeah, because I mean, I feel the same way. Like, you know, like I was saying, it's like they ask us for ideas, but it's like they're not working with, you know, we're trying to get what we're asking for.
See, that's
so, like you said, Joey, it probably is for more of having us participate.
Yeah, so. At that point, I would literally just go over the top. I'd be like, all right, well, since you asked, I'd actually like 7 fry stations arranged in this shape, and every time somebody calls my order, I want them to say Master Chef D. Chef D. And I want my name carved into the ceiling because I do all the work, and like I would just go completely over the top. So either you stop asking me and not listening to me, or you know you may be called Master Chef D at work. Who knows? You know, worst thing that could happen is everything stays the same.
That's true. Well, I think we're supposed to. The keyword is supposed to. In 2 months, we're supposed to have like they're supposed to give us a new station and all that. So everything hopefully will be working. So I hope that they actually do it this time. Because like the past 5 months, like a couple of the they would keep on, you know, checking the sizes of everything like 5-6 times. I was like, I hope y'all really do this, you know, by this point. Because it's like almost everything is starting to break down now. So y'all ain't got no choice by this point.
Yeah, sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes everything being on fire and coming apart before they realize, like, oh snap, we should probably do something about this. And you know, sometimes at that point it's too late, but you know, you can hope. Because that was the situation at my previous job where it was like that there was a lot of stuff that was like held together by like the thinnest strings, and we were all saying for the longest time, like, hey, we should probably, you know, do something about all of this because it's going to come apart and it's not going to be pretty when it does. And everybody's like, well, we don't want to spend the money. Well, we don't have the budget. Okay. All right. You say so. And then 3 weeks later, where did all the files go? Well, you see, the program from 1998 wasn't compatible with new PDFs. So it kind of deleted everything. We're not sure why, but it happened. And you know, then of course, well, in my instance, my head was on the chopping block because it just was. But you know, it's one of those things where you can't let yourself be taken advantage of, but at the same time, sometimes you do just got to be like, all right, I guess it almost be like recognize where your limitations are, because there are some situations where you genuinely just can't do more than what you've already done, and I think a lot of people drive themselves crazy trying to be like, oh, well, I could have done this, I could have done that, you know, I could have said this to this person and this to this, and, you know, maybe, but also maybe not. Like maybe nothing would have changed. You know, maybe you still would have gotten cussed out by your boss or whatever.
But all right, I think we covered quite a good bit. On how to,
we did it, coach.
You know, talk to people be patient with people being patient with you, vice versa, all that jazz.
Ultimately, it's just remember what your value is as a person. Don't let yourself be taken advantage of. Like, remember to put yourself in other people's shoes and understand that everyone is human. Like, or that old adage, because you're human, because you're like we are human, we will die. So just because you're in the moment of things aren't working out, doesn't mean that. What was I saying? Crap! I just lost my train of thought. Long story short, I'm saying.
I was about to get you. I was about to scoop you up, bro.
Scoop me up.
Yeah, but so pretty much it's all about balance. Know your values. Know what you should and shouldn't do. And it's important to be patient with people because you want to be in their shoes, and hopefully they can, put on your shoes as well. Just kind of see what you're going through. And I think that's where you left off.
And ultimately, like you said, the golden rule: treat everybody like you want to be treated. At the end of the day, regardless of everything, treat those people the way you want to be treated. Gold and diamonds don't get any better or worse because something hits them. Wow, that was terrible. Oh my god, I need to stop making. What I'm trying to say is don't let your values, don't let other people kill your values because of the way they treat you. Treat everyone with respect and continue to be yourself. God, why can't I just say that?
Yes.
Lord, why am I trying to relate things?
It's all good. And for those young people out there possibly listening, if you're like over 18, you're a man or a woman, you can say no, you can decline. You do whatever you think is right, and don't let people add too many things to your job title. So yeah. Like, don't be afraid. I mean, you might as well start young so you can learn later in life. Or so
don't ever work for free. That's
pretty much.
That's the best way I was taught. If you're good at something, don't do it free. And they hired you because you can be good at your job. So you should never do it for free, no matter what's going on. I don't care but we love you so much and you're our favorite employee. That's cool. But I'm getting overtime, right?
Where my money at?
Right. I love y'all too. This is a really dope job. So I'm getting overtime though, right? Because otherwise I'm about to go home. And I will love you all the way to my car. And when I get in my car, I'm out. You ain't gonna see me till tomorrow.
Well, anyway, yeah, I guess we can wrap it up here, y'all. I didn't say it at the beginning, no intro, but if you guys want to follow the podcast, it's usually out on the YouTube channel. If you want to listen to it on the go, Google Play for Android phones, iTunes for iPhones. If you want to listen to it on Stitcher Radio as well, you can do that. All links in the description. Links to, I think Joey only has like true business-ish social media, so I'll post your information as well.
Hey man, hit me if you need a resume, you need your website done. I need money.
There you go. But all right, y'all. We just out today.
Yeah, we out here.